Welcome to today's video where we're discussing how India is responding to recent US tariffs and at the same time strengthening its global trade ties with key international partners. In April 2025, the US imposed a 27% reciprocal tariff on certain Indian imports. This move was aimed at addressing what it called unfair trade advantages. The sectors most impacted include gems and jewelry, textiles, medical equipment, and some agricultural products. The sudden spike in tariffs sent shockwaves across Indian exporters, prompting quick responses from trade officials and policymakers. But instead of reacting with similar tariffs, India took a more calculated and diplomatic approach. The Indian government emphasized long-term trade stability and began engaging in direct discussions with US trade representatives. The focus is to avoid escalation and instead build a broader, mutually beneficial trade partnership. India and the US have already laid the groundwork for a new trade agreement. Both sides are discussing reducing tariffs, easing market access, and resolving regulatory hurdles. Their shared target is to double bilateral trade from the current $200 billion to over $500 billion by 2030. If this succeeds, it could become one of the most significant trade partnerships globally. Simultaneously, India is not relying on a single ally. It is diversifying its trade strategy by deepening relations with other major economies. One of the most notable partnerships being formed is with the United Kingdom. The India-UK Free Trade Agreement is reportedly 90% finalized. This deal covers crucial aspects like tariff reduction on British whiskey and automobiles, and in return, India is asking for relaxation on visa norms and better terms for its skilled workforce in the UK. Trade between India and the UK is already on the rise. In fact, recent investments announced in April 2025 include £400 million across fintech, electric vehicles, and pharmaceuticals. Indian companies like Paytm and Ola are looking to expand their base in Britain, while British brands are entering the Indian consumer and industrial markets. India is also pushing forward in its trade talks with the European Union. The EU is India's third largest trading partner, and a free trade agreement has been in negotiation for years. In 2025, there is renewed momentum. Key sectors being discussed include automobiles, pharmaceuticals, agriculture, and digital trade. The EU is particularly interested in India's fast-growing digital economy, while India is seeking better access for its agricultural exports. Apart from Western countries, India is strengthening economic relationships across Asia, Africa, and the Middle East. One of the most ambitious projects in 2025 is the India-Middle East-Europe Economic Corridor. This multilateral initiative connects Indian ports with those in the Gulf and Europe, creating a reliable trade and energy supply chain. It also allows India to bypass some traditional bottlenecks and gives it a strategic edge in global logistics. In Africa, India is entering into multiple bilateral trade pacts with countries like Kenya, Nigeria, and South Africa. These agreements are focused on agriculture, education services, pharmaceutical exports, and digital infrastructure. India's approach is not just about exports, but about long-term development partnerships that provide mutual benefits. In Latin America too, India is making progress. Trade volumes with Brazil, Argentina, and Mexico are growing. India is exporting engineering goods, mobile phones, and pharmaceuticals, while importing oil, food grains, and industrial raw materials. Back home, economic agencies are cautiously optimistic. While Moody's Analytics slightly revised India's GDP growth forecast for 2025 to 6.1% due to tariff pressures, the Reserve Bank of India and the Finance Ministry are working together to support economic growth through interest rate cuts and targeted incentives. Tax reliefs for export-heavy sectors, credit support for MSMEs, and state-level logistics infrastructure projects have all been introduced to make Indian exports more competitive and resilient. In summary, India is navigating the complex world of global trade with strategic balance. On one hand, it is diplomatically engaging with the US to resolve tariff tensions. On the other, it is not waiting for one door to open. It is building multiple bridges with countries across Europe, the UK, the Middle East, Africa, and Latin America. India's trade policy in 2025 is a blend of resilience, diversification, and global ambition. and the way it handles these evolving challenges will play a big role in shaping the country's economic future. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Is India taking the right steps on the global stage? If you like this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more such content.